Jon Jones, extremely talented. Jon Jones, one of the most skillful fighters of all time. But Jon Jones ain't no motherfucking GOAT. Okay? It is a manufactured narrative that has been put forward by the UFC that he's an undisputed 100% GOAT by the UFC. They're trying to make him the Michael Jordan of the UFC. And I let that shit stand. So today we got a hit piece on him, okay? Now I'm gonna go across various aspects of Jon Jones and say why he's not the GOAT. But I do want to say I'm not gonna include any of the shit that happened outside the octagon. When it comes to the discussion that I'm having right now, his morals simply just don't matter. Like, it just don't matter. Like, fuck him, but it don't matter. Okay? So, the first thing that I want to go into is that this guy is a known, 100% proven cheater. He is a cheater. He cheats at the sport, and it is a known fact. And I'm not only just talking about popping, more times than anyone else in UFC history, by the way. I'm talking about his dirty tactics within the octagon. I'm not talking about the oblique kick. It's legal. It is what it is. You can disagree with it, but it's legal. Okay? This guy was rightfully disqualified by his illegal elbow, and it may be legal now, but what are we going to revert that to no longer a loss because of the rules changed over a decade later? Well, in that case, we should change every single win in UFC history back in the day where someone punched someone in the dick, and we should change that to a no contest or a loss for that person because the rules got changed a few years later. Shit don't work like that. If it's illegal then, and you do it then you face the punishment of what was going on at that time. But got disqualified for an illegal move. Okay? Known eye poker. Known to use dirty tactics within the octagon. The worst eye poker of all time is Jon Jones. I made a whole fucking video about this that won't be out right now. I don't think so. No, it might, I don't know. Bro, known eye poker. Eye pokes 24/7, and does that hurt your case? Not entirely, but it is something to point out that this guy, to get an advantage, does stuff you are not allowed to do. Then I'll talk about the drugs. Most failed drug tests of all time. An entire event was moved for this man, to me. Now the next thing that I want to have a discussion about real quick is Jon Jones's latter stint in light heavyweight. Now, people like to go on about Jones's first stint in light heavyweight, saying he beat a bunch of old guys. He didn't. They were definitely near the end of their prime, but they weren't old. Okay, they were top contenders who, if you want to give a real criticism, you can say that they were, just kind of bought up middleweights, but they were legends, and Jones dominated like 99% of them, except for like Vitor, who like nearly submitted him. You can also even go off on the Chael Sonnen, how he refused to fight Chael on short notice, but I'm gonna give him benefit of the doubt for that. What I want to talk about is Jones' latter stint at light heavyweight, starting with the Ovin St. Peru fight. Now, if you've not watched this fight, this was one of the worst performances in Jones's career. To be completely fair to him, he was coming back, but still, this was a terrible performance. Then we have the DC fight. Don't you fucking dare count this fight as an argument for Jones being the GOAT. He literally failed a drug test. Don't count this fight. If you count this fight, you're not even worth having a discussion about whether Jones is the GOAT or not. You're showing either your bias or you're just pure stupidity, okay? Then, he beats Gus to win the light heavyweight belt, okay? It's vacant, fair enough. But listen, man, Gus never got a win in his entire career after this, okay? This was not the same Gustafsson. Then, he fights Anthony Smith. He can't even finish Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith may well and truly be the worst fighter who's ever challenged for the light heavyweight title in the past 15 years. I'd say definitely the last 10 years. Like, it's Anthony Smith. Then he has a close fight against a one-legged Thiago Santos. And then he loses to Dominic Reyes. That may not count as a loss, but everyone's in agreement that he lost, including his little bum boy Dana White. And in that case, I think as a community, we should count that as a loss. Let's not brush that shit under the rug. Jon Jones is not undefeated. I mean, he's not anyway. He got disqualified, but if someone says that to you, just tell them, shit, it evens up. He got gifted a win against Reyes. He should have lost that fight. And if he lost to Reyes, that loss would have aged so fucking poorly. Jesus. Man, that would have been bad for his legacy. Damn. So Jones' second stint at light heavyweight was fucking atrocious. It was. He underperformed constantly. None of his wins aged well at all. Ovin St. Peru went on a downfall after. Anthony Smith went on a downfall. He's never that good anyway. Thiago Santos he beat Johnny Walker. He's been 1-9 since then. Dominic Reyes has been 1-4. Terrible stint. Then we move on to how this guy has been a fucking parasite for the heavyweight division. So yeah, I want to talk about how this absolute parasite that we can barely call a human being has absolutely ruined the best heavyweight top 5 we've had in a long time. Not the best heavyweight division, because outside the top 5 it overall is pretty shitter. You know, we got some gems in the top 10. As soon as we're at the top 10, we're fucked, okay? But think about the guys that we have. Cyril Gane, Tom Aspinall, Swolkov, okay? But Swolkov, Curtis Blades, Pavlovich. Think about all these exciting guys that we all give a fuck about. And you're gonna say John Almeida's not exciting, but John Almeida's really fucking good. Okay, that's my boy. Straight up. But think about this. And what we've got at the top is a guy who's only for one of those guys that I just mentioned, which is Cyril Gane, who was coming off a loss against Francis Ngannou, a guy who Jones ducked, which Dana said he ducked. But Dana soon, you know, changed his tune when, you know, Francis went somewhere else, you know, changing the narrative and shit. But Jones's claim over the heavyweight belt is by beating the guy who we all know isn't the best guy. And he's refusing to fight the clear best heavyweight in the world right now, so he can fight a guy who shouldn't even be ranked, okay? So he can fight a guy who's what? Has he won this decade? If he is, he just edged it in. Okay, whoa, shit, that's not that crazy. But this guy took 3 years to quote unquote bulk. Okay. I mean, he did bulk. He definitely bulks. But he didn't shred shit, bro. Like, that ass. But this guy took 3 years off the bulk. Definitely wasn't ducking Francis. Okay, definitely wasn't ducking him. And he's refusing to fight the matchup we all want to see, so he can have his little perfect legacy fight. He has ruined the heavyweight division, and he's ruined just everything. He's a stain and a parasite on the UFC, looking for the easiest possible way so he can get out of his career without, you know, so he can still have the narrative of him being the GOAT, which is going to be pushed by everyone until some other guy fucking 15 years later comes along, okay? I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of the UFC's fake GOAT. And just be a free thinker, man. Don't let Dana fucking corrupt your mind, okay? That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, much love, man, and a big goodbye.